I fuck this, I'm not whispering.
And we are live from the bathroom. And today we have
Your boy, T. Pilly over here.
no. You're supposed to ASMR. Do it.
Alright, fine, just a little bit. It's your boy, T. Pilly over here. I'm over here in the bathroom as usual.
Something about that just sounds wrong. Anyway, and what's today's soap of the day, T. Pilly?
Well, today's soap of the day is about fucking cavemen and about how we I don't know, you fucking give me the soap. I just know it's about cavemen.
Today's soap of the day is Neolithic, Paleolithic, Dr. Squatch, bussin', balls deep, gooch lick. Okay, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
Anyway, today, so, Pill, do you believe that you've often heard people say, oh, that's what our hunter-gatherer ancestors do? You know, you gotta do the paleo diet, or, you know, you gotta do cold plunges, because it'll increase your testosterone, so you'll look like a caveman, right?
Hell, I do all those right now. My paleo ancestors did do all that stuff, and I love it.
Yeah. And they lived to the ripe old age of 26, right?
Wait, hold on, I'm getting a call from my associate. I'll be right back.
Whatever you just said right now, say it again. Just say it.
Right.
Your associate did what?
Oh, no, don't worry about it. It was just him and my lawyer. We were just talking about a bit of stuff about what I am allowed to say to the media, what I'm not allowed to say currently, but,
I knew it.
that's all in the past.
I knew it. You're secretly a caveman, aren't you?
Let's continue.
Hey, if I say ooga booga, what's your first thought?
What the fuck did you say?
Anyway, okay, so I do feel that, you know, there's always experiments. They say, oh, what hunter-gatherer... Do you think, like, humans have an obsession with our hunter-gatherer ancestors?
I say we don't have enough of an obsession. Do you see the ways that we work in today's world, in our soy-infused, grain-fed modern society? Do you think these sedentary jobs are working is because we're obsessed with our hunter and gatherer ancestors?
I mean, no, but I mean, you know, when people would constantly be talking about, like, oh, I'm Joe Rogan and we eat elk meat or organ meat, and there's a big push towards moving back to that Neolithic ancestor, like, type of thing. Like, I wonder, because, like, those people didn't live very long. They lived for how long?
They lived pretty decent lives, at least 50 years, as long as you didn't die before you were 3. And honestly, what could be better than that? Children dying young, but men living as long as they wanted. Is there a better form of society?
True, and then there were no condoms, so you know.
Exactly.
The water balloon fights were
back then.
great. Wait, what? You might need to consult your lawyer on that one again.
Allegedly, consent was not invented back then.
Anyway, moving on. But do you think it's because it's due to humanity having, like, this obsession with the past? Like, oh, you know, it was better back then. And they're thinking about all the things they did. Like, we were stronger, we were better, we were built for this. There's like an obsession with biology, what it should do, ignoring the fact that biology also changes us as we go about our modern lives. Like, have you heard that there are children born with a phone pinky? Like, they have a little, like, their pinky, like, turn inwards because they're, like, adapting to hold a phone better. Like, what is more natural than having your absolute body contorted into shapes so that you can watch Mr. Beast another 3 hours longer?
I did not know that was a thing. That's the grimmest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's pretty grim, actually. But regarding that, do you think people like the idea of a caveman ancestor thing more because they think, oh, look at all these modern trappings? Actually, maybe that's a part of it. Maybe they're like, we evolved to adapt to our surroundings. I kind of wish I could evolve back to adapt into this situation. You know what I mean?
I think it's that and the fact that just with the way that we're so coddled and we become cattle in our modern everyday lives, that we just crave a bit of the excitement that comes with, like, living as a caveman.
I mean,
every day you're living life with purpose. You've got something you need to do. You've got tasks to overcome. It's just that they're ignoring the fact that every day there's a possibility you could just fucking die of dysentery, cholera, or a lion might just show up in your crib and just chew up your entire family. But it feels like you're living like a simple life of purpose.
Do you think that maybe Maslow was a little bitch and he had a few too many hierarchies? Like maybe we just really needed a few. He's like, damn, that man added self fulfillment. He added shelter. He added love. Like, damn, what's he gonna add next? Freaking positive KD in Call of Duty. Like Maslow, calm down. Actually,
Yeah, Maslow
let's
did
talk
have
about that.
way
Let's
too
talk
much.
about that. Like you mentioned the word cattle, so let's expand on that a little bit. What really makes us cattle? What's walk us through the lifestyle of the modern everyday chud beef.
Okay, okay. So imagine your cattle. Imagine your basic everyday white man, 30s somewhere in there, balding. He's got square glasses on. He's got the soy beard, and he absolutely loves Soylent products and vegan food and all that stuff. So imagine his daily life, right? Gets up every day at 6 a.m., gets ready to go into his little wage cage and drive to his job early in the morning. It's an office job. Everybody there is dressed the exact same way as him. They're doing the exact same tasks. They do it for hours on end, and when they're done, they get back in their wage cage, get back in traffic, go home, and get ready to repeat it again ad nauseum. They only get 2 days of break for the entire week after working with those 40 hours.
But
They've
but they give
achieved.
you but some jobs don't even give you a break. So isn't it a great thing that this funnel, this rat race, allows him to get out of the cage, nibble a little bit of the nice cheese, and then get back into it later?
Well, even if he does, though, what has he actually achieved by doing his work? All he sees is that he's putting numbers in like a spreadsheet or whatever, and that his boss is filling up his pockets while he gets his little wage. But like he's not really achieving anything. Nothing he's doing is filling him with accomplishment
He's
in what he's
throwing little
done.
pieces of
And
cheese down the hill, and then the big piece of cheese gets picked up by the big rat at the bottom.
exactly. But at the same time, again, there's no sense of accomplishment that comes with doing it. Now, if our little soy boy over here was Grug the caveman, you know what he'd be doing when he woke up in the morning?
He
He'd wake up, he'd see his fire is out. He would be like, I'm hungry. I need to get breakfast for me and my family. He would see his stupid wife, or maybe even multiple wives and their children, sitting around the cave, maybe slap one of them with a club just because he felt like it. Then he would go out. He knows he has stuff to do. He could either start foraging for like fruits and berries to give his family a nice nutritious
a
meal.
man
He could go like
foraging?
antelope. He could what?
A man foraging? That's pretty woke of you.
That is extremely woke, but he has the choice. He could do that, or he could go out and club an antelope, beat the shit out of it, or he could go find another caveman, fuck his wife, fuck Timmy, go and do if he does that. It's so many options, and he all has the agency to do whatever the hell he wants, and everything he does has purpose of advancing his way of life. Everything he does makes him feel accomplished. So there's actual purpose of
And
living like a
everything he does
caveman.
has a direct, substantial impact, 100-fold into his own life. Like every single thrust into his neighbor's wife will be directly a thrust that he gets. Like in our modern
Exactly.
everyday, we get one thrust and then we get a quarter of the actual thrust. We do like 100% of the stroke, but get like a quarter percent of the.
But no,
I don't know what I'm saying.
no, it makes perfect sense. See, we do all of these
Unfortunately.
pointless tasks to get little credits that we use to get little bits of dopamine that don't actually affect our way of life in any meaningful way, unlike what cavemen get. Think about it. Like we don't even have to go all the way back to cavemen. Think about the hunter-gatherer groups that live even now. You go see the little interviews that they have with them on YouTube and everything, where they get the translators.
They're like, we don't
All
want
they
the.
think
They're like,
about,
we don't want the internet. This is useless.
exactly. All they think about is the community they have around them and just doing their job, whether it's hunting, smoking weed around like the fire, drinking alcohol. It's just the basic necessities of human life, just personified every day.
Yeah. And then a little bit of that too is also, I think they said that hunter gatherers or even um, older tribes, they, what they do all day mainly is like play. Apparently they play all day and they do like 2 or 3 hours of work, and then it's like food is free. It just grows all around them and they make it. Time is
Yeah.
to be spent with friends. Everyone's available. No one works. So maybe it's kind of like life was simpler, so you had the simple pleasures. Now life is more
Exactly.
complicated, so you have bigger peaks and valleys. And maybe that's what people are worried about. They're like, I don't like the valleys. And these peaks, while they're great, just don't work. Maybe humans weren't meant to have such high fluctuations. And because of that, they're like, maybe we should be caveman. Maybe we should be
I
backward
agree with
living.
you. I actually agree with you on that peaks and valleys thing, but I want to say that it's actually skewed a bit, so that
It's
I mean
only
we don't the
it's
world
only
is all about
skewed.
money.
So let me finish. So it's only skewed in terms of pleasure. You got to ignore that it's built on a foundation of medicine, on living longer, on actually. That's what I was trying to get at. I was like, when you look at the leisurely side of our lives, because we have all these innovations, all these wars, all these just social dynamics, all these small things that just snowballed into our everyday lives and globalism itself, because we're so comfortable, we're now making ourselves uncomfortable.
I mean that's true, but at the same time, all of these modern conveniences that allows us to live this comfortably and allow us to get through life without actually having to know any skills to survive in the world or whatever, or like any practical skills, it comes at a great cost that goes against our human biology. Look at like you were saying, the things that hunter and gatherers do spend most of their time doing. Just being with their community, friends and family. We as humans barely get a chance to do that. Once we're done with our tutorial stage of being children, we're thrown into the working world and we're just expected to be busy during 80% of our lives now and unable to just spend time with people we enjoy outside of like a few days a week maybe
And
or like
God forbid
a
you're
few times a month.
and God forbid you're not busy, despite the fact there's nothing to do. You better make yourself busy.
Exactly, the expectations is there for that. Like, how much time have you been able to say as an adult? Like, unironically, have you been able to just sit down and spend a good chunk of time with your family in a way that you've enjoyed?
I mean,
Like, how often do you really
I've
get
been
to do
able
that?
to like once every 3 months,
Exactly.
and then I'm like, oh, I gotta
Like,
go. I have to go back to work tomorrow.
exactly. Could you really say that's fulfilling? It's a human biology. Could you really say that's fulfilling for us as a community creature, a social creature?
Yeah.
Is that really what life is meant to be?
Didn't they say that humans were most likely became the apex predator because we're engineered to be one of the most social animals? We're social in a way that if any of us figure out an innovation, we can teach others. Say like, hey, this rock can break this rock better, and then that person can take that
Exactly.
innovation and innovate it further. Like this rock, if you would tie to this stick, it can hit even harder. And then it became like social IQ almost. We have individual IQ. Like we were incredibly smart humans. But once we
Yeah,
introduced social IQ, we basically had the IQ of an entire creature the size of all of us.
that is true. Again,
And now
humanity.
we're going back to where individual. I mean, we're still like connected, but we're connected to in ways where in which we don't all share equally. We all do a small part, and it all funnels up to one person who then reaps the majority of the benefit. You know what I mean? Capitalism.
I mean, you could even think of it like ants are a similar thing. Like, think about it. One human, yeah, is capable. Or let's think about it like a monkey first. Like, yeah, a monkey is a monkey. But if you think about all monkeys that are around on Earth, does that really sound like anything more of like an impressive thing or like a threat to you? Because monkeys, all of them around the Earth, they're not going to work together. But then you compare the scale of one human to the scale of humanity. Think about how much more humanity is capable of than a single human. That you don't find that kind of scale up for many species. Like you can see that with ants,
I
maybe,
never thought about
like
that.
because they're
Yeah.
another social creature.
Well, it depends,
So,
but it's also interesting because no matter how crazy that one monkey is, they will never have that much of an impact on the rest of the monkeys or even on other creatures. But one human could have a crazy impact on all other humans. It's like
exactly.
because we're so connected, our social IQ is so high as well that one individual with massive power, charisma, just intellect can spread that across all other humans, and then that gets amplified by the power of humanity.
That's very true. But
There's
one
literally a
damning thing,
humanity factor, yeah.
but I'll just list one more damning thing about modern society because you say that humans evolved to be like the supreme example of like social intelligence among species. We were developed to be all of this, and then modern society created incels out of a creature like that. Just
It's
think
because we
about
were
that.
too. It's because we were too successful.
But you managed to take this apex of social IQ engineering like that, and then create those failures of society
Yeah,
out of a
bathroom.
teacher with such a high ceiling.
Yeah, bathroom.
Exactly. And imagine people like Bathroom.
Yeah, once you reach the pinnacle of humanity, you can only go down.
That is true, but at the same time,
So, ladies, what we're saying is find your local incel and thank them with a good, hearty hand job for being the pinnacle of the human race. Like,
that would agree to that too.
jocks, CEOs, they got like Neanderthal skills. They got like strong muscles. They got like
Exactly.
smart IQ and social dynamics. They're closer to Neanderthal than your local incel. They're just too evolved.
They're so unevolved that they're actually more evolved.
I think you mean they're so evolved they're actually unevolved.
I think it works either way.
Yeah, anyway, this has been part 1 of Caveman. We were talking about the social dynamics. I then want to talk about next time about how we talked more about like what modern life is and why people want to specifically focus on why hunter-gatherers and caveman is attractive. Next, we'll focus on the fact that maybe we're focusing on it because of how we work, that we like to think about the past, about what it means for the future. The whole history repeats itself, so we're obsessed with learning about the past in hopes it'll teach us about the future, which, it can make sense.
Although it never usually turns out to be true sometimes, but
Yeah, so this has been our first planned part. Well, I guess, wait, don't we have another series that or another topic that we had a part 2 we're going to do about? Was that the politics one? Or no, that's because we're making. Fun fact, by the way, we're planning on making another podcast called Political Peasants, where we dissect political stuff.
Because we are political experts.
Yeah, I mean, I am the president of the United States.
And I am the president of the Gulf of Mexico, which is now part of the U.S.
Are you sure about that? The Gulf of Mexico? Get it right, you slang. It is Gulf of America.
You see, well, actually,
that was actually ridiculous. What was the point? What was the point of that?
I cannot defend it. I think we should have called it Gulf of Texas. At least that way both countries could be satisfied.
Why would? You know what? I think actually Mexico would actually not be upset about that.
Oh, I'm just saying, wasn't Texas a part of Mexico? That's one thing we can all agree on. We all love Texas.
I mean, New Mexico. We literally have a state called New Mexico. It's just Texas too.
I think that is very true.
Anyway, this has been us in the bathroom. Are we in the bathroom?
Wait, hold on. You just said you're the president of the United States of America, so you tell me why that happened, actually, because you're the one who made that decision.
My fellow Americans, I made a big poopy in my diaper, and we're going to have to cut this podcast off. Gotta make sure to wash your hands, flush, wipe. I mean, I don't do any of that shit. I don't do any of that shit myself. Haha, pun intended. I don't do any of that shit myself. But anyway, yeah, Maria, I made a poopy. Please clean me up, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.
The pinnacle of jokes. We're making Trump jokes in the podcast now.